Welcome to DIY Easy Crafts and Berg KnifeMaking.com. Today we're going to take a look at how to make a shark frenzy themed chef's knife. Now this particular episode I'm going to break into two videos. It just got a little bit too long. But this is an AEBL stainless steel chef knife, full blade etching with the shark frenzy theme. And then I made some scales with fossil shark teeth and total boat thick set resin. On this video, the first video, I'm going to really focus on the blade, doing the rough bevels, the heat treating, and the etching. The second video will cover the handles and finishing off the blade. I started by not only reaming out the pinholes, but also scribing lines onto the edge of the blade called railroad tracks. Then I went to a 2x72 grinder. I have a 90-degree table set up, and I'm just using a little piece of scrap wood as a push stick. That way my fingers don't get burned, and I can apply a little bit more pressure. I'm holding the blade at a pretty steep angle just to create this micro bevel or primary bevel. It's at a greater angle than the rest of the blade is going to be, and that primary bevel goes right to the first line on the scribed railroad tracks. The rest of the time, I'm just going to try to blend that bevel into the rest of the blade. Once it's done sufficiently on that coarse belt, which is a 36 grit, I start to grind vertically, and at this point I switch to an 80 grit belt. And I'm going to grind that completely flat so that I get rid of all of the existing horizontal scratch marks from that coarse grit belt. This is all pre-heat treating. I'm then going to go to a orbital sander, handheld sander, and I sanded this at 220. And then I hand sanded to get rid of all of those spiral marks and have just one direction vertical sanding marks. So this is the blade ready for heat treating. Since it's stainless steel, it's going to get heat treated in a heat treating oven. I'm going to wrap it in stainless tool wrap, and you have to make as airtight an envelope as possible. So I double fold all of the seams and crease them tightly, and then I put it right into my heat treating oven, and it goes up to 1960 degrees with a hold time of about 15 minutes. Once it comes out, you really want to get it to cool off as quickly as possible, but you also want to make sure that blade stays flat. So I clamp it in between two aluminum plates. Now, people use solid aluminum. I happen to use tubing. I like the tubing better because I can blow air through the center of that tube, and I can really get that blade to cool down pretty quickly. So I blow the air not only in between each piece of aluminum, but also through each of those tubes. I then take the blade out, cut it out of that stainless tool wrap. I can blow a little bit more air over it if it's still got some heat to it. And then I can start, after a quick sanding, I can start my etching process. Now, I use self-adhesive vinyl, and I cut out the design on a arts and craft type vinyl cutting machine called a Silhouette Cameo. I apply that vinyl to the blade, and then I'm going to weed the vinyl. And all that means is I'm going to pick out all of the little pieces. Anything that I remove is what's going to get etched. What gets exposed is what's going to get etched. I like using these little 90-degree tweezers. They just make it a little bit easier for me. But this process takes a little while, and it's definitely a little straining on your eyes. Good magnifying glass helps. I guess if you had a young set of eyes, it would even help more. So this is the finished self-adhesive vinyl stencil. I weeded out all the areas that are going to get etched. You can see I'm also doing a striped bass knife at the same time. Now I use electro etching. I use a 12-volt car battery charger, and it's 12 volts set at 2 amps. That is connected to an electroplate, which is just a steel plate that I made, angle iron with an attached piece of wood handle, and I've got gauze wrapped around that. I've got the positive from the battery charger attached to the blade or clamped to the blade, the negative to that electroplate. That gauze is dipped in an electrolyte solution. So for stainless steel, I use white wine vinegar and salt. And then I'm going to etch this in 10-second increments for a total of about 2.5 minutes. Every minute, I let it really cool down. I either dip it in water, I just let it cool down over time. My fear is always that if I apply too much heat, that self-adhesive vinyl is at some point going to lose its adhesion. So I play it on the safe side, 10 seconds at a time, and I cool it down every minute. Once the etching's done, I just remove the vinyl. I'm just using a little razor knife to do so. And that's when you get the first indication of what the etching is going to end up looking like. So that's it for the first part of the video. Stay tuned. I'll get the second video finished up shortly. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this YouTube channel. I would absolutely love it if you left a comment in the comments section. I'd also like to give you an invite to join us on our Facebook group, Knives and Knife Making, and also check us out on the web, not only on DIYEasyCrafts.com, but also BergKnifeMaking.com. And I'll put links in the description below. Thank you very much for watching.